Today we have a combined total of 396 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Lafayette Parish on a base of 16,580 tests. We have recorded one more fatality for a total of 17. Yesterday, after our press conference, President Trump announced federal guidance on reopening the economy. A three-phased approach was announced to be enacted by governors across the nation, depending on the situation in their individual states. We're hearing questions about what phase we're in and what that means for opening businesses. It is important to understand that these federal guidelines are just that, guidelines. They are developed by the President's Coronavirus Task Force in consultation with the Centers for Disease Control, FEMA, and the United States Public Health Service, along with others. Specific rules for business operation in Louisiana come from the governor. They are implemented and enforced by local authorities. The governor's stay-at-home order and all 7 emergency declarations remain in full effect until the governor announces otherwise. We are receiving a very positive response to our Safe Shop guidance, along with a number of questions. The businesses we are addressing are already authorized to be open under the governor's emergency declarations, subject to social distancing, and that is in Order 41, Section 2C. There has simply been confusion about what is allowed and what the requirements are. Up until now, questions about these businesses have been handled on a case-by-case, ad hoc basis. Our Safe Shop policy provides clear guidance and establishes additional requirements: masking of employees, employee symptom checks, capacity limits, customer distancing, along with enforcement. We are also providing guidance for these businesses regarding best practices with LEDA. Businesses can call 311 and press 2 starting Monday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. We are working on a mechanism for helping businesses source masks if, for some reason, they are unable to find them otherwise. This is all part of our effort to ensure that we are able to conduct business on a safe and prudent basis in a manner fully consistent with the governor's emergency declarations. We've received written confirmation from the governor's special counsel that our interpretation of Emergency Declaration 41 is legally accurate, and that these businesses have always been authorized to open, subject to social distancing requirements. I appreciate receiving thanks from the governor's office for our leadership on this issue. It's good to receive acknowledgement that we're on the right track with our legal and public health analysis of these very important matters. We take these decisions extremely serious. It's important that our citizens understand the governor's stay-at-home order is still in effect. If you do not have to go out, please do not do so. When you go out in public, you are encouraged to wear a mask in situations that social distancing cannot be maintained. I understand that everyone feels cooped up here at home. This situation is not only dangerous, it can be frustrating. Here in Lafayette Parish, and to a significant extent across Acadiana, we have done well with social distancing and using good judgment. We're not seeing the levels of infection and mortality happening in Orleans, Jefferson, and St. John the Baptist parishes. We are determined to keep it that way. We must continue taking this challenging situation seriously to ensure we preserve the success we have enjoyed so far in avoiding the worst impacts of COVID-19. No power of government, however, federal, state, or local, is a substitute for our citizens using good judgment, common sense, and taking these precautions seriously. As I've said many times, the best solution in this public health emergency begins and ends with us. Our successful response to COVID-19, as well as our economic emergency, requires our responsible implementation of these Safe Shop measures. Again, employees wearing masks, employee symptom checks, less than 25% of capacity in these establishments with a mechanism for counting in place, social distancing of 6 feet between customers when shopping or in line, again, with a mechanism in place for achieving this objective. Some final clarifications to our Safe Shop policy. This guidance does not change anything with respect to essential businesses, such as large retailers and medical providers. Medically necessary services are and always have been considered essential. It does not change anything with respect to bars, restaurants, or personal service providers such as hair salons. It also does not change anything with respect to church services. These are all areas that fall under different provisions of the governor's emergency declarations. I want to thank our local media and urge continued efforts to make sure our news reporting helps inform and clarify these important legal and public health distinctions for the general public. Many of these issues can be confusing, so clear and accurate reporting is critical for the health and safety of our people. Thank you again for what you do. And let's please take a moment, as we do so often every day, to pray for those who have lost their lives to this virus in our parish, our state, across the nation, and around the world. Please join me. Thank you. I have time for a few questions.
What is, you say 25% of the capacity for a business?
Yes.
Is that more stringent than the 10 people per business that the governor?
It
Did
can
you have
be.
10 people?
It can be, depending on the math, depending on how many people are allowed per the fire occupancy. But I understand the intent. I understand the intent of your question, Claire. So the 25% capacity is due to the is determined by the fire, or your capacity, excuse me, is determined by the fire marshal or code, and we're allowing these safe shop businesses that don't fall in the essential businesses that have not been expressly prohibited by the governor. That's roughly 60% of businesses that are in our parish. That's what that 25% applies to. We feel 25% in conjunction with the medical advice that I've received, primarily through our parish health director, medical director, that is a safe level of occupancy that will allow businesses to start opening up here in Lafayette. So it's one step of many that we'll take to make sure that we can bring this economy back to where it needs to be in a safe manner.
When you heard that number, is that including employees and people who are shopping at the store?
Great question. Yes. So it does the capacity, it's overall capacity for the building. So good clarifying question. Appreciate that.
Are you encouraging the businesses to take temperatures of the customers coming in as well?
In a perfect situation, that would be ideal because then you would know. But we talked about this yesterday. Our business owners, we have to give them credit. They're smart. They look, our customers, our employees, in this parish, our employers, our citizens in this parish. I think we all know, and in big part thanks to you guys for reporting the severity of the situation. This is still a deadly virus. We reported, unfortunately, another fatality today. Our business owners are going to take, I trust them to take measures in place that will ensure that their customers feel safe. If one business is taking measures to protect their customers and other businesses aren't, I'm pretty confident the consumers, their target audience, their targeted demographic is going to go to the safe businesses. And I will say this, last week, and I don't know if we discussed this or not, but last week I had a really good conversation with leaders of our big box stores, and just to talk about best practices and see how we can keep our customers safe. And I'm not surprised, but I am relieved to know that the restrictions that they put on themselves, that they self-imposed, were far greater than I was ready to put on them. And I know I could probably speak safely for the governor and the president as well. But good question. Any other questions of me?
So employees are required to wear masks, but the customers are not?
So they should. So I'm encouraging all patrons, thank you, Claire, for asking that, all patrons to wear masks if you can in grocery stores. I am definitely encouraging you where you cannot maintain social distancing to wear your mask. We're exercising social distancing out here. If you notice, when I'm at the Robichaux Center, our CAOs at the Robichaux Center, and Carlos, and all of us go there. We have our masks and our gloves on because we can't properly maintain social distancing. So we wear our mask, wear our PPE. Out here where we can exercise social distancing, it's not needed. But for those safe shop businesses, the ones that fall in that middle, that's 60% of our businesses here in the parish, we are requiring their employees to wear masks.
And switching gears a little bit,
Yes, sir.
we know that there's a task force in place now to help bridge the gap with racial inequities,
Yeah.
and we've heard from some in the community that say we should have had testing sites on the north side of town where it'd be a little bit easier accessible to residents there. What's your reaction?
Well, we do have testing sites in the north side. Carlos, did you hear the question?
Yes, I did.
So if I could have Mr. Harvin come up and answer and address that situation before Carlos gets up. Look, I take that very seriously. You know, I'm blessed to be the mayor president of all of this parish. This is not. Notice it doesn't. This logo doesn't have just a faction, fraction of the parish or a faction of our parish that I'm so blessed to lead and represent and serve, humbly serve. Our residents and our members of our community on the north side are subject to this virus just like everyone else, and in some aspects are more targeted than some of our neighbors in this community. I take that extremely seriously, and Carlos and I have been working very, very hard. Our administration, our councils, everyone, we all take this serious, and we're going to do everything we can to protect them. So Carlos, if you could, please come up here and address Mr. Wells.
Yes, before Mr. Harvin addresses, did y'all ever have any conversations though before opening the Cajun Dome site, or in addition to opening the Cajun Dome site, to have any public testing locations such as the Clifton Chenier Center, Domingue Center, anything like that?
So yes, but we felt with the demand, and again, this is a parish initiative, Lafayette being centrally located, the Cajun Dome being centrally located in the city, from a logistical standpoint, from our healthcare capabilities, our PPE that was available, it made the most logistical sense to open up the Cajun Dome so that we can serve the whole parish. And in reality, we ended up serving more. We served more than the parish. We talked about that, I think, a couple weeks ago. So, Carlos, please tell us about the efforts we're making. Are you specifically asking about the north side or a different demographic in our parish?
Specifically the north side.
All right, please do. Thank you.
I want to thank Mayor President Josh Guillory for his leadership, for being out front with getting the Cajun Dome Convention Center as a testing site, screening site, our partnership with Lords, and what we saw were many people coming to that site. We learned just over a week and a half ago from the governor, it was a week ago Monday, that those numbers, we didn't know, no one was taking racial demographic information. We weren't taking racial profile data on people getting screened or tested. It didn't allow for that. When we began to see the numbers of people dying, that's when the governor, a week and a half ago, let us know that 70% at that time were African Americans who were dying from coronavirus. Nobody knew that. No one had shared that data before the governor did. That number since was dropped to 59%, but even that is still double. So what we've done within the last 2 weeks, we noticed that there was a drop off in people coming to the Cajun Dome. African Americans were coming, white Americans. We even had Spanish language interpretation. Even Vietnamese were coming. So we were attempting to service everyone in Lafayette Parish because everyone was equally susceptible, we thought, to dying from the virus. What we've seen now is SWLA, which is on Patterson Street, right across from down from Alice Boucher. That is a site that is in the heart of the African American community. We're looking at other sites that are coming on board soon. Northside Community Health Center, and they're going to have a mobile testing unit. So if people can't get there, they're going to be going out into the community. There are other sites. We've been actually shortly after opening the Cajun Dome Convention Center site. Before those numbers came out, we were in touch with Northgate Mall, Lab Express. They're a local, we beat it to the punch. We were already thinking north side. So I want to thank Eva Del Calle, and we've been in communication with her. She's the owner of that testing site in the Northgate Mall. And we're just trying to make sure that they have enough of equipment and supplies. And that's where a new challenge is that we've heard from Northside Community Health Center, Lab Express. There are others that we've spoken to. There are other clinics in the area, but getting enough equipment is going to, and supplies is what we're hearing from those sites.
Before you go, did you say the SWLA site is open already, or it's?
Yes, SWLA is open, yes. Northside Community Health Center not open yet because of a lack of supplies. They're trying to get that. We know there is another one, St. Bernadette Clinic on St. John Street, but their target demographic is the homeless. So that's what they're focusing on at this time.
Promise, don't forget, there's some other commercial walk-in clinics there.
And then we do have the urgent care centers. So Lord's Urgent Care, there's a network of about 9 urgent care centers across Lafayette Parish, and Our Lady of Lourdes urgent care centers. Yes. But I do want to share with you, Mayor President Josh Guillory and I and our team, we've been working very closely, following the governor's lead. He announced, once those numbers came out, he announced a Louisiana COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force. Mayor President Josh Guillory, immediately we said we're going to do one locally here as well. So we've been in touch with Tanya Bolden-Ball from SLCC. We've been in touch with, as I mentioned, the Northside Community Health, Dodie McCommons from Northside Community Health Center. And there's a lot of community partners that we're reaching out to that want to be a part of that effort. I think I got Dodie's last name incorrect, but she's on board with us as well.
Now, are you all still waiting on a breakdown of those numbers here in the parish?
Yes, we have been asking and patiently waiting to get. We've had 17 deaths in our parish. We don't know what those. We're waiting to see if that statewide trend is also a local trend. That's what we're waiting for.
Man, I can't wait till we go back to the day where we can shake hands, right?
Yes.
You know, so my goal, to allude to the demographics here locally, our goal is to have that information. It's my understanding, OSEP, who we have Craig Stansberry here. Craig, great job, and I appreciate all your leadership and efforts. He's usually behind the scenes here, so I don't know if you got a shot of him, but he's doing a great job. He works with the statewide GOSEP, but it's our understanding that we'll have possibly have some of that information as far as demographics, racial demographics, maybe gender demographics toward the end of next week, and that is going to be given to us by the state. I share in Carlos's enthusiasm in regards to having that knowledge. You know, having that knowledge will allow us to better plan, especially our equity task force. Thank you for your leadership and our administration, and on behalf of our people, all of our people. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. While I still have you, just again, we're talking about the economic impact of this very, very serious public health emergency. Again, a plea to all of our business owners out there. This is my challenge for you, for all of us. Let's rethink who we do business with. We had a plea last week: buy American, buy Louisiana, buy Lafayette. But I'll further that challenge and reevaluate the vendors that you use. We all, you know, some of your businesses, whether it's products or services, you have to get them from somewhere. I challenge you to find a local vendor. I challenge our vendors to be competitive so that we can get this economy here in Lafayette Parish and Acadiana, Louisiana, and across our nation back on track. You know, we will get there. We will get there by the grace of Almighty God. We will get there, but by the willpower of our people. So with that, I'll leave you for the weekend. I thank you for what you do. I appreciate you. I ask for God's blessing on each of you and all of our viewers and constituents in Lafayette Parish. We will get through this. We are Lafayette strong. God bless you.